The 2023-2024 NFL season is in the books, and with it we have a new champion. Well, not so new. We have a defending champion winning. The Kansas City Chiefs win Super Bowl 58 by a final score of 25-22 in overtime, the second ever overtime game. So in this video, I wanted to go through a recap of the game, how I think the game went, how exciting it was, and where I think it ranks all time. But before we get into the video, I want to take a quick second to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. It really helps us out. If you're a fan of the NFL, I'm sure you'll love this channel as we release multiple NFL-related videos every week. That's it. With that, back to the video. As said before, the Kansas City Chiefs are now back-to-back Super Bowl champions, becoming the first team to do so since the early 2000s Patriots and Tom Brady's second and third Super Bowl victories. Funnily enough, the same as Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of similarities between the two. We'll get into that in another video, but for now, we're just going to talk about this game. I was streaming this game live on Twitch, and the consensus from everybody watching along was that this game was kind of mid, at least through the first half. And I understand why. There was only one touchdown, a pass from Jawan Jennings to Christian McCaffrey, which admittedly was pretty cool. You always like it when a non-QB throws a touchdown pass. But outside of that, the only scoring was a field goal from both teams, albeit a long field goal by Jake Moody of 55 yards, breaking the Super Bowl record, which, spoiler alert, was then to be broken in the second half by Harrison Butker. But again, we'll get to that. I honestly don't think the first half was as mid as a lot of people. I thought it was pretty good based on the defensive play. I get it. It's not as fun to watch really good defenses, but it still can lead to really good games. Look no further than Super Bowl 42, where the Giants and the undefeated Patriots were at 7-3 going into the fourth quarter, and that still has gone down as one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. In a video on this channel, I literally ranked it #1 all time. In the first half, though, you had a lot of picks, you had a lot of forced fumbles, you had a lot of ball slipperiness. I mean, that didn't change after the first half. That stayed throughout the whole game. The ball just seemed to fall and slip and be fumbled all over the place. I don't even know the number of fumbles. I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me it was double digits come the end of the game. You also had some really good defensive play. The 49ers pass rush was absolutely hounding Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense and looked dominant. It looked like they weren't going to let Mahomes or the Chiefs do anything. And it reminded me a lot about Super Bowl 55, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers absolutely destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs by just rushing Mahomes constantly and not letting him have any time with the football. At the end of the day, the first half was all 49ers, and it seemed like they were absolutely going to run away with this game. The only problem, the lead was only 7 points, and it shouldn't have been. They should have had a much bigger lead. But badly timed fumbles, badly timed penalties, badly timed situational football, and all of a sudden they only go into halftime up 10-3. Yes, the Chiefs defense showed up, especially in the second quarter, to keep it within a game, but the 49ers should have had way more points, and this should have been way more than a one-possession game. But as we reach the end of the first half, we got to talk about the halftime show. And I actually really enjoyed this halftime show. I thought Usher was great. I love that it wasn't just a bunch of gaudy set pieces, and it more revolved around the people and the stars, bringing on a ton of stars like Alicia Keys, Ludacris, Lil Wayne. It was great to see. I think Usher did a great job. I really enjoyed this. I don't think it competes totally with the Super Bowl 56 halftime show with all the legendary rappers of the early 2000s, but I think it's almost impossible for a halftime show to beat that one, in my opinion. This is about as close as it could come. Props to Usher. He did a great job. Couldn't have asked for more from him. Just fantastic. So as we start the second half, Kansas City's in a really good position. They're only down by 7. They get the ball to start the half, a position that they should not be in based on how the first half looked, at least. But they turn the ball over immediately. San Francisco gets the ball in Kansas City territory, and it looks like San Francisco's just going to continue to dominate this game, eventually putting up points and win. But Kansas City was able to mount some drives eventually, get the ball moving in the third and fourth quarter, and kick some field goals. They got 4 field goals in the entirety of the fourth quarter, which helped them to get eventually to overtime. But 4 field goals only gets them to 12 points. How did they get to 19 points to go to overtime? Well, that's pretty simple. They got a muffed punt advantage. That's right. They were not able to drive the field and score a touchdown throughout all of regulation. Their only touchdown came from a muffed punt that hit off one of the blocker's ankles, and the returner wasn't able to pick it up off the funny bounce. The Chiefs jumped on it. They get the ball at the 12-yard line, and they score a touchdown the very next play to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. As for the 49ers, how did they get the rest of their points? Well, they only needed 9 more points after the first half, and no, it was not 3 field goals. They actually only kicked 1 field goal and got a touchdown and missed the extra point. Well, not exactly missed. It was blocked, but it's mostly on the kicker. Moody did a line drive on that kick, put it right into the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs defenders, and lo and behold, they took a 16-13 lead at that point in time. Eventually, the Chiefs put up 2 more field goals. They put up 1 more field goal, and we went to overtime. Now, overtime's a little bit different now. After 2 years ago, when there was the crazy overtime where Josh Allen didn't get to touch the ball against Patrick Mahomes, they've changed the rules. This time around, no matter what happens on the first possession, the other team will have an opportunity to possess the ball, minus a safety happening on the first possession. That still ends the game. So the 49ers win the coin toss. They elect to receive. They drive all the way down the field, getting within the 5-yard line, but it's just not enough, and they end up needing to settle for the field goal, taking a 22-19 lead. But hey, that's not the end of the world. Remember, the Chiefs kicked 4 field goals, got 1 touchdown, and that was on a muffed punt that put them inside the red zone, and it was a 1-play drive. The 49ers defense has bowed their necks all game long. Yes, it's Patrick Mahomes. Yes, they're going to have 4-down territory. But who cares? Worst case scenario, they get a field goal. And then if you're the 49ers, you know all you need to do is score a field goal and you will win. So how did that work out for the 49ers? Well, we already know how that worked out for the 49ers. The Chiefs got the ball. They drove the field methodically, as you just expect from a QB as great as Patrick Mahomes. They ended up finally scoring a touchdown to McCole Hardman and winning the Super Bowl 25-22 in the second ever overtime game, to only Tom Brady beating the Atlanta Falcons in overtime. Again, there's a lot of similarities between Mahomes and Brady here. Again, another video. And with that end, Mahomes ended with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 333 passing yards, and 1 Super Bowl MVP. I talked about this in the preview of this game on the channel, that Mahomes was almost definitely going to win MVP if the Chiefs won, but for a long time, it really didn't look like it. I mean, Mahomes didn't look like he was having the best game until that final score. He only had 1 touchdown to 1 interception, and until that final drive, he was well under 300 yards. But you know what? Overtime makes everyone look better. Mahomes was always seemingly going to win MVP if the Chiefs were going to win this game, and that's what we saw. And similar to what I said in that video as well, the 49ers, it was wide open who was going to win that MVP. Jawan Jennings, clear front runner, 1 passing and 1 receiving touchdown. Christian McCaffrey had a ton of yards plus a touchdown. He had a good chance at it. And the defense had done a lot of work. Chase Young had a great game, especially in the first half. Nick Bosa didn't get any sacks, but was wreaking havoc all night long. It could have gone to anyone on the 49ers. But we know the Chiefs won. Mahomes wins MVP. And the 49ers go home sad. Man, this is not the ending you want. I mean, Brock Purdy, I think he'll be back eventually. The guy's young. He's really good. I think he's proven this postseason that he's legit. But at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and Brock Purdy is going to have to just come back stronger, get better, and the 49ers are in a little bit of trouble because they're in some cap constraints moving forward, especially once they need to pay Brock Purdy. This team's not going to be able to stay together for that much longer. Let's see what they're able to do in this offseason. I hope they can make another shot at it, because this is a team that absolutely deserves to walk out of this era with a Super Bowl championship, and they still don't have one. So where do I have this game ranking all time? Well, I did my top 10 rankings before, and I had the only other overtime game ranked at number 9, that being the Patriots and the Falcons. While yes, that was partially there because it was the biggest comeback of all time, I didn't love the overtime system where the Patriots were able to score and the Falcons didn't get a chance. This was a nice change of pace where both teams saw the ball. One team got a field goal, one team got a touchdown. That was the difference. I really appreciated that ending. I think it was a really good overtime, and at the end of the day, I think this game ranks above that game. This is a top 10 game. It's our 3rd straight banger Super Bowl. Both 57 and 56 were phenomenal, and they didn't even make my top 10. I think this was better than both those games. A ton of plays from both sides of the ball. It really didn't seem like there was a surefire or a definite winning team, and it never even felt like it was a last possession wins. Yes, that is how the game ended. but it's not how it felt. It felt like both defenses were able to stop the other team, so there was always that suspense the whole time. It wasn't oh, they're probably going to score, they're probably going to win, it's just a matter of time. No, there was never that element of inevitability. It always felt like both teams had a legitimate shot, especially in that second half. That's what I love to see in a game. I love to see both great offense and great defense. This is definitely a top 10 game in my opinion, and it might sneak into the top 5. I think where I'd label it right now, I probably slot this game in at the 4th best Super Bowl of all time. Yes, 4th best. That's how good this game was. I think it was phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, one, what are you doing? Go watch the recap. At least go watch the replay. If you have watched it, let me know in the comments. Do you think this game was as good as I think it was? Do you maybe think it wasn't as good because it was a bit more of a defensive showdown? Let me know. I'd love to communicate down there. Either way, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Peace!